Hey YouTube, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a knife video for you. Today I've got a first impressions. Now this is on a knife that's been out for a little while, but this is an updated version from the second drop. This is the Juggernaut version of this knife. So as you can read here, we've got the Massdrop Ferrum Forge Crux. And I wanted to give you a quick overview of this knife, mostly because I wanted to talk about ordering stuff from Massdrop and give you guys an idea whether or not that's something you would appreciate. And very quickly, I will show you the knife and talk about the knife just a little, especially because it's kind of a new edition or version of this. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this guy. I will say this, these are available now. So you can actually go to Massdrop. I'll put a link in the description box down below and order one of these yourself if you want one. Now, I think a lot of the versions are sold out, so you might be limited to what you can actually order. You know, if you're thinking, oh, I definitely want the blue, or I want the bronze, or I want the plain in certain color or something, you may have to wait for that. But they do, as far as I can still tell, have a few available. So this is how it ships, just in a plain cardboard box. There is, where did I see it? Maybe on this end. There is a WE logo down here, kind of hidden on that flap. And then on the pouch that we're used to seeing from WE knives, you've got Massdrop, Ferrum Forge design. We've got some silica gel in here. Nice little microfiber cloth, which I will suggest you might need because this knife is going to be a bit of a fingerprint magnet. Let's go ahead and grab the knife there. So there you go. That is how the Juggernaut version of this looks. And I don't know why they named it the Juggernaut, but I definitely can see a certain similarity to the Juggernaut armor if you're a superhero fan at all, a Marvel Comics fan. My kids are nuts about comics, and so I'm wondering that if that's where that idea comes from. So essentially you just got some dimples and some lines milled in here. This, of course, is the gray titanium, the bead blasted titanium. Now I have to say this, I don't absolutely love bead blasted titanium, okay? But I love how it looks after a few months of carry. So bead blasted titanium, it does take some wear. And my thinking about that is that the wear that it gets is really, really attractive. So right now, new out of box, I don't hate it, but I'm not in love with it. However, in a couple of months' time, when this has been carried, when there's some marking on it, when it's rolled around in your pocket a little bit, I find the bead blasted titanium looks really, really nice. Okay, so just wanted to put that out there because there are a couple of versions of this, and you can go over on Massdrop, follow the link as I said, and you'll find all of the different variations of this that are available. So let's go ahead and give you a quick rundown of what's involved here. So we have an S35 VN blade with a flat grind. Stock is actually fairly thick, you know, probably not dissimilar to a Para 2 or something along those lines. There's a little, oh, look at that. Look at the mirror polish on here. You can see the angle of the, okay, anyway, totally distracting for me. Really, really high satin finish. And I said that would be a real fingerprint magnet, and it already is. I have to say, I really, really like this blade. I like the blade shape. I like the grind, and I love that high satin finish. Finger choil here, ceramic detent ball, and ceramic bearings. Flipper tab deployment. Now, there is no real other option. It's pretty much a flipper only, but the detent is very, very nice. Yeah, really, really nice action on this knife. Moving down quickly to the titanium scales or the titanium handle, backspacer construction, single position pocket clip in a right hand tip up position. No internal milling on this, but it's not a huge knife anyway. Now I have to say I'm really impressed by this, and I want to, you know, I'll talk more about this in the full review, but look how they've milled out the relief cut. They've actually milled a hole into the titanium, which is really, really nice. This essentially, you know, this adds strength. Well, anyway, this is about the perfect way to do a relief cut. Ferrum Forge often does this on their knives, and I'm pretty sure that's where we got the idea from. I will have a full discussion about that when we get to the review, but I don't want to belabor that point right now. So that's the knife overall. That's the packaging that it comes with. This is a little bit different because of the fact that they have these in stock. If you go to order one, it's actually a pretty decently fast turnaround time. If it's something that they don't have in stock, or if you're getting involved in a drop that is sort of being advertised, that can take a little more time. For example, the Perpetua, the Schwartz design that Millet Knives is building, I got in on that drop. I think it was supposed to be, it was probably about 6 months before it was supposed to come out. And then they projected June to be the ship date, and it ended up shipping sometime in the last few days. So that's September. Okay. So you got to think, like, that's probably, I don't know, 8 months ago that I would have gotten involved with that drop. And now just finally the knife is on the way. All right. So I just want to share that with you so that you have an idea. When you order from Massdrop, if it's something they have in stock like this, yeah, the shipping is good and they're pretty fast. If it's something that is coming up that they're working on, then it's going to be a while. And there are a number of really, really nice pieces that they're working on. I would say, guys, at this point, all of the WE collaborations, so the Massdrop stuff built by WE, has been really, really good. So if you're looking to get into a drop, that would be where I would recommend you go first off, and then maybe go elsewhere from there. Of course, this knife in particular, I have to say, is pretty darn impressive. Obviously, this is not a full review. I've only had this for a few hours, but man, for what you're getting, for the level of fit and finish, the overall design here, the materials, $125 is ridiculous, right? That's what a pair of two costs. And actually the pair of two costs more these days. So to get a titanium frame lock that's as well appointed as this one is for $125 is really, really impressive. All right, so let's go ahead. Let me just do a couple little quick checks here on ergonomics. So my fingers fit okay. It's a little small for my liking. It does have the option of a finger choil. I wouldn't want to use this finger choil for really difficult cutting tasks. It's not huge. My finger just barely fits, so you could have issues there. But otherwise, and again, I'll talk more about ergonomics when we get to the full review and I've been able to spend a little time with this knife. Let's grab some size and weight on this guy. So let's see here. We're looking at about 7 5/8 inches overall, maybe just a little bit more than that. You could almost call it 7 and I don't know. Let's go with 7 5/8. I may change that a little bit on the review when I'm able to look at this without being on the camera. Blade length, we've got basically 3 3/8, just a hair under 3 3/8. Close length on this is going to be just under 4 3/8. You can see that there. So almost 4 3/8 inches when closed. Lastly, let me grab you a weight here. Hold on, let me make sure the scale is in ounces. No, of course not, it's in grams. There we go. So now we can check out how much this guy weighs. 4.2 ounces. So 4.2 ounces, guys, that is great for a titanium frame lock. This is actually fairly stout. The stock on the titanium is pretty thick. The blade stock is fairly thick. So, I would call this a real little workhorse of a knife. It's not big. In fact, it's a little small for me, but I've got to say, I don't know, man, I'm really, really enjoying it. So I'll have more to say about that once I've been able to put it through some real use and do a full review. But at this point, I am pretty darn impressed with this as, an EDC, sort of EDC plus maybe kind of knife where, yeah, it can do all the EDC stuff you need, plus take a little bit more, take on some more difficult tasks if it needs to. I will say very, very good value, very, very good sort of user knife. highly, highly recommended at this point. Now, this is not my full review, okay? So I want you to, if you want to get one of these, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I've watched a few reviews in the meantime, and most people are pretty darn happy. And so I think I will be too. But just wanted to share this with you guys. I feel like, yeah, where this fits is a nearly perfect EDC knife, maybe a little on the small side, but I know a lot of you like those smaller knives than I do. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will talk to you soon.